Hello, Gary Simpson from ZenithSelfMastery.com, and a few days ago I said I would have some more information on an author called Wallace Wattles, and I did a little bit of a review of this book, which I said that you could get free online as a PDF, and I checked, and yes, you can still get it free online, so I encourage you to download a copy of that. Now, Mr. Wattles, he's a curious looking fellow, and I printed a picture off for you to have a look at. You can see it better, obviously, on your own computer, but just looking at that, I don't want to be uncharitable or anything, but he does look a little kind of different, let's say. Probably the best thing I can say. And apparently he had a bit of an inferiority complex because of it. When you read or listen, and there's some audio material on the internet too, to any of Wallace Wattles' works, you pretty quickly realise that just about every success book that's been written in the last 100 years has, I won't say copied, but followed his model of teaching. One in particular comes to mind, Bob Proctor, and I think he actually admits it on one of his DVDs that I have. But yes, so Wallace Wattles, born in 1860, died in 1911. During the war between the states, Wallace Wattles experienced a life of failure after failure, until in his latter years, after tireless study and experimentation, he formulated and put into practice the principles laid out in this book, The Science of Getting Rich, which was written in 1910, and when you realise that he died in 1911, that's a bit sad, I think. Now, it's freezing cold here too, I might just add. That's why I've got my beautiful fleecy shirt on, and the wind is just howling through this place, and that's why I'm sitting in this nice cosy little corner here. Let me just read a couple of bits and pieces that I printed off the internet about Wallace Wattles. His daughter Florence noted that in his last years he wrote almost constantly. It was then that he formed his mental picture. Remember that bit. He saw himself as a successful writer, a personality of power, an advancing man, and he began to work toward the realisation of that vision. And he began to live the life that he wrote about. Although he died relatively young, and although his work was forgotten for years and years, those who have studied and applied his principles throughout the 20th century have experienced remarkable results. Pretty much, they've become rich themselves. Now, an interesting little side note that I discovered while I was doing some research on Mr. Wattles, Rhonda Byrne told an interviewer that her inspiration, and incidentally Rhonda Byrne was the lady that wrote the phenomenally successful book called The Secret, and created a video series and a film and all sorts of other things based upon it, which later went on to earn her millions, multiple hundreds of millions of dollars. She told an interviewer that her inspiration for creating that 2006 hit film and the book and everything else by the same name was her exposure to this book, which apparently was given to her by her daughter, who I believe her name is Hayley. She gave Rhonda Byrne that particular book, which apparently she'd printed off on the internet and had it held together with a bulldog clip. I've just gone a little bit fancier because I like to bind my things and put nice little covers and things on them to keep them safe. She gave her mother, Rhonda Byrne, a copy of the book, and apparently Rhonda Byrne at the time was not in a very stable state, and Rhonda attributes that book to turning her life around. Just a couple of other little things about Wallace Wattles. He also wrote The Science of Being Well, a novel called Hellfire Harrison, The Science of Being Great, a mail order course expanding on the principles of his 3 books, and many, many, many magazine articles. And I guess the point I'm trying to make today, and I've said it lots and lots of times before, you really need to get this sort of thing into your mind. You need to see yourself as being successful before you can be successful. And look, I'll just give you another little look at Mr. Wallace Wattles. There's nothing really remarkable about him. A lot of people say there's nothing too remarkable about me too, and they'd probably be right. But it just goes to show that it doesn't matter who you are, where you come from, or what your previous background has been. If you put your mind to something, you will achieve whatever it is that you're trying to achieve. So I just thought I'd share that last little bit with you, because I believe strongly in that. This has been Gary Simpson from Zenith Self Mastery.